What if I told you that the next great superpower race isn't about oil, armies, or even trade? It is about artificial intelligence. While Silicon Valley debates regulation, China is building a parallel AI empire, faster, cheaper, and already reshaping global industries. And here's the shocker. Despite US sanctions, limited chip access, and Western skepticism, Chinese AI is not just catching up, it is starting to out-innovate. In this episode of Nunes Economics, we will reveal how China's second AI revolution could rewrite the balance of global power and why this time the battle for dominance won't be fought in code but in control. If you appreciate me doing this kind of content, like the video and subscribe to the channel. We are witnessing technological rivalry unlike any in modern history. Not over oil, not over trade, but over intelligence itself. For years, the United States led the artificial intelligence revolution. Silicon Valley became synonymous with innovation. OpenAI, Google, Microsoft, Meta. But quietly, on the other side of the Pacific, another revolution has begun. A second AI revolution, led not by Western giants, but by Chinese firms like DeepSeek, 01AI, and Huawei. For decades, China has been a follower, a country that copied Western technology. But in AI, that narrative is collapsing. The first AI revolution around 2017 mirrored Western breakouts, speech recognition, image classification, autonomous driving. Today, however, we are in the middle of a second wave, a uniquely Chinese model of AI innovation that blends efficiency, modular design, and mass deployment. According to the Harvard Business Review, Chinese firms have shifted from model building to ecosystem engineering. Instead of focusing solely on large language models like GPT-4, they are optimizing application layers, customer service bots, logistic optimization, digital manufacturing, using smaller, more agile AI engines. The result, you may ask? Systems that may not match OpenAI in pure reasoning power, but outperform in cost, adaptability, and integration across industries. In short, Chinese AI is becoming industrial AI, practical, embedded, and quietly transformative. Let's talk about the names driving this movement. DeepSeek, for instance, is building what it calls modular intelligence. Their models are designed not as one monolithic brain, but as clusters of specialized experts. Each are trained for a particular task, then combined through a coordination layer. Meanwhile, 01.AI, founded by Kai-Fu Lee, the former president of Google China, focuses on democratizing AI infrastructure. Its open-source model became a viral phenomenon, reaching tens of billions of downloads in just weeks. And Huawei, despite being blacklisted by the US, has invested billions into developing Ascend AI processors, chips designed to rival NVIDIA's CPUs, creating a parallel, self-reliant ecosystem. These firms don't aim to replicate ChatGPT. They aim to create China's own paradigm. And some analysts now call it GenAI 2.0, efficient, modular, and locally optimized. It's a strategic pivot from bigger to better is smarter. It is important to note that Chinese companies aren't obsessed with model size. They are obsessed with efficiency economics. Western AI labs spend hundreds of millions of dollars training giant models that consume massive computing power. Chinese firms, constrained by US chip sanctions, have innovated out of necessity. They use parameter sparsity, activating only parts of a model when needed. They rely on federated learning, training across distributed devices rather than centralized data centers. And they deploy AI on the edge, embedding intelligence directly into smartphones, vehicles, and factory robots. The result, you may ask? AI systems that are lighter, cheaper, and faster to commercialize. A Hawaii engineer recently put it this way: if we can't outspend the West, we'll out-optimize it. That's not just technical innovation, it is also economic innovation. Another difference lies in how AI is used. In the West, AI is largely software-centric. Think chatbots, productivity tools, creative apps. In China, AI is industry-centric, powering logistic networks, energy grids, ports, hospitals, and manufacturing lines. DeepSeek's AI is optimizing the shipping schedule of China's biggest logistic firms. Huawei's AI runs predictive maintenance system across power plants. Alibaba's CityBrain is managing traffic and urban infrastructure for entire megacities. This integration gives Chinese firms a unique feedback loop. We're talking about real-world data at enormous scale. Every transaction, every shipment, every citizen service adds to the machine learning pipeline. So, while the West AI companies depend heavily on internet data, Chinese companies are training models on industrial data, the next frontier of AI competitiveness. After 2019, US sanctions aim to slow China's AI progress by cutting off access to advanced chips from NVIDIA or TSMC. But rather than halting progress, the restriction ignited a national push for technological self-reliance. China launched multi-billion-dollar funds to support domestic semiconductor design. So firms like Huawei and SMIC began developing their own chips. Meanwhile, universities and startups collaborated to design energy-efficient architectures that reduce dependence on Western hardware. It is a classic case of pressure-breeding innovation. History reminds us that economic isolation often accelerates domestic indigeneity. In effect, sanctions forced China to create indigenous AI stack, from chips and software to cloud infrastructure and data ecosystems, making it far less vulnerable than Washington intended. Here's where it gets uncomfortable for the West. Silicon Valley dominance rests not only on technology, but on control of the ecosystem. The GPUs, the cloud, the data, the developers. But China is now building a parallel system, one that is cheaper, faster, and tanned for emerging markets. Imagine this. A Southeast Asian startup can deploy a Chinese open-source model for 1/10 of the cost of GPT-4, trained in its own language, hosted on Huawei clouds, and integrated with WeChat Play. This is not a competition. This is sort of a de-Westernization of the AI economy. If this model scales across Africa, the Middle East, Latin America, it could erode Silicon Valley's network advantage. And as Chinese platforms integrate AI into trade, logistics, and fintech, they are building soft power through software. It is globalization, but globalization on Beijing terms. Beyond technology, this race reflects two very different philosophies. In the US, AI evolves through open innovation, private ventures, venture capital, and decentralized experimentation. In China, AI evolves through direct innovation, state-supported ecosystems aligned with national priorities. Neither is inherently better, they're just scaled differently. Open innovation is fast, but it is fragmented as well. Directed innovation is slower to pivot, but cohesive when mobilized. Think of how quickly China deployed AI across healthcare and finance during COVID-19, or how entire cities adopted smart infrastructure almost overnight. That level of coordination is difficult in the US, where corporate silos and data privacy laws slow adoption. So, while Silicon Valley debates AI ethics, China implements AI economics. Different paths, but both reshaping the future. Can the West afford to ignore this? The short answer, absolutely not. For Western policymakers and companies, dismissing China's AI progress as state-driven innovation is a dangerous illusion. The reality is, innovation has diversified. China is now producing breakouts in multimodal AI governance, and quantum accelerating learning. Its models might not dominate English language internet, but they do dominate real-world verticals. We're talking about supply chains, smart systems, and energy ecosystems. So the real question here for the West is not, can we beat China? The question is, can we learn from China's efficiency and integration before it is too late? The US built the transistor, the internet, and deep learning. China, however, is mastering the art of mass deployment, the step where ideas turn into economic power. As we enter the next decade, the race for AI supremacy will not be won by who has the biggest dataset or the most GPUs. It will be won by who can embed intelligence into everything, from supply chain to satellites. China's second AI revolution is not a copy of Silicon Valley's first. It is a reinvention, a shift from scale to efficiency, from software to systems, from innovation for profit to innovation for power. The implications are profound. The world may soon run on dual AI ecosystems, Western and Chinese. Nations will have to choose which digital infrastructure they align with, and global innovation will no longer speak one technological language. So, can Silicon Valley afford to ignore it? Not if it wants to remain the center of the world's digital gravity, because the next wave of artificial intelligence won't be invented in one lab or one country. It will be shaped by who controls the balance between intelligence and influence. If you found this analysis insightful, make sure to subscribe to Nunes Economics. Here, we don't chase hype. We decode the economics behind global transformation. And in this case, Chinese AI revolution isn't just a tech story. It is the new chapter in the economics of power.